Welcome. So today I'm going to be showing you and telling you how to replace a 2002 Honda DX gauge cluster bulb that has gone out. So firstly, we're going to start off with the materials that you're going to need. Six speed Dakota on YouTube says you will need a ratcheting or a screwdriver, preferably a small one, because the large one is unable to get into the tight spaces needed. He says you'll need obviously a car, and then you will also want to make sure that you have the right bulbs. 2002 Honda takes the 2721 bulbs. They're relatively tiny and hard to find. So yeah. So before you start, you want to make sure that you have all the tools you're going to need, such as screwdriver, bulbs, your car, and preferably your keys so that you can get into the vehicle. Once you have all that, you'll first want to ensure that your car's off and that you have located what bulb it is, just basically like what location it is on the gauge cluster. So for me, on mine, it was the temperature one, which if you go to the back, there are like two on that side. It will be the lower one just because that's where it's located, on that lower side. But yeah, so firstly, to get the bezel off, there are two screws up top that are holding it on. You'll want to loosen those and take those out. And then here's the hard part. There are two clips on the bottom, which are a pain to get to because you have to bend the plastic down, which if you are unable to, I recommend using a flathead screwdriver or your key. Key works just fine, just try not to ruin it. And then slide your finger across all the way down to here, or as far as you can get. And then if you grasp with your hand like this, and like while your hand's like up here and you pull, should just pop right out. And then you have to do that to both sides, which is kind of a pain because sometimes the other side likes to pop back in. And then once you get that done, you can finally move on to getting the gauge cluster actually out. There are three screws, two on the bottom, which are zinc coated, so it's like a greenish, like orangish tint. There's one right there, and then there's one black one right on top. And then once you get those out, there are two clips on the back that you can just, well, first you'll want to pull it forward a little bit or as much as you can. And then there's two like little connectors on the back. There's a green one and a blue one. You'll first want to start with the green one because that one has less wires, so it's a lot tighter. And it's kind of a pain, but so there's a little clip that you have to push in on that front side that will be facing you. And then you want to pull up, but it's kind of a pain. It's really tight. And then the blue one is a lot easier because once you get the green one out, you can pull it as far forward as you need. And then you just pull that one out. You can use two hands with that one, but the green one, usually one. And so once you get that done, you'll come to the back and then twist one direction. Sometimes it changes depending on how the bulb was put in last. And then you're left with this little tiny piece with a black end on the back and a bulb. If you just pull the bulb right out, then you're left with the black piece. And you'll take the bulb, new bulb preferably, not the old one, and then you just put it back in. Make sure it's lined up with the two copper spots on this little black thing. And then you can put it back in and twist it right on, maybe. Then once you do that, you've replaced your light, and then just repeat the process backwards. Obviously, put the blue connector in, and then green, and then push it. There's two other holes where the screws goes. Those sit on little pegs to ensure that it's in the right spot and it doesn't rattle while you're driving. And once you do that, yeah. And then Patrick from Honda Forums says it can be a pain, but it's definitely a lot cheaper. And then, yeah, driving on, we'll talk about how it's beneficial. So first thing is pricing is a major point with all just working on your car in general, because if you can do everything yourself, you save so much money. Like, for example, I asked my uncle who owns Golden Auto in Council Bluffs. He quoted me $280 to fix it, but I paid $26.72 for everything that I got, and that was all at O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's had the right bulbs and stuff, and then, yeah, the bulbs are kind of expensive, but that was probably also with this teeny tiny little ratchet that made the job 100 times easier. And then, yeah, and plus, when you work on your own car, you understand your car more, so then you can locate problems easier and faster and not have to go to a shop and have them just lie to your face about what's wrong with it. And yeah, it just saves you a bunch of time and stuff like that. So today I talked about materials needed, gave you a step-by-step guide on how to replace the bulbs in your 2002 Honda Civic DX gauge cluster, and then I told you how it's beneficial to you or society. Just based on price savings, I say it might be difficult, but I mean, just don't mess up. It's one way to learn. Thank you.